Hello everyone, this is Lata Akula. Today we will discuss about new topic, that is economic importance of bacteria. Before studying about this, first we will study the useful bacteria, and later completing this we will study about what are the harmful characters of the bacteria. So if you see the useful bacteria, first one is the curd. We all know that the curd is formed by the bacteria. So if we take the milk, lukewarm milk, if we add some buttermilk or curd to it and incubate it for some time, in the morning we will get the curd which is formed by the bacteria. So in the milk, what we are adding in the form of curd and buttermilk, we are adding the bacteria only. Yogurt. So yogurt is formed by the Lactobacillus bulgaricus. Both are similar, but the bacteria is different. So this yogurt is formed by the Lactobacillus bulgaricus. Hence we can also call it as bulgaricus milk. Cheese. Cheese is all in the production of cheese. There is a first of all the milk is formed into curd. For the formation of curd, Lactobacillus lactis is required, and later that curd is fermented by using some other fungi. For the initial step of the cheese formation, we need the Lactobacillus lactis, that is curd forming bacteria. Vinegar. In Chinese dishes, we know vinegar is mostly used. That vinegar is also a fermented product produced by the bacteria Acidobacter aceti. In biotechnology, these bacteria uses are vast. In your future lessons, you'll study about RNA technology. In that RNA technology, we'll study about host, vectors and all those things. The host is we use as bacteria as a host. Some of the E. coli are used as a host, and in that bacteria there are some plasmids. In our last classes, we have studied what are plasmids, extra chromosomal genetic material. Those plasmids are collected, which are taken as vectors, and into that vectors, some of the desired genetic material was used. We'll study it later. So in the biotechnology also, bacteria were used. Petroleum pollution control. When we see during traveling, is there any accidents or spillage of oil takes place from the ships, that oil will be floating on the water. Because of that oil, whatever the living organisms present in the water, they get suffocated. To prevent that, there is one organism, one bacteria called Pseudomonas butida is added to that water. So this Pseudomonas butida, it will clears the oil spillage and clear the water. Hence this Pseudomonas butida we can call it as superbug. Pest resistance. Pests are nothing but these are the insects which will which harm the plants, and that will be very much problematic for the farmers. So for controlling those pests, some scientists, they have taken Bacillus thuringiensis bacteria. From that bacteria, they have taken a protein called as crystal protein, which we in the short we can call it as cry protein. It releases a toxin called as endotoxin. So this endotoxin kills the insects. By using this principle, what they have taken is this crystal protein was collected from this bacteria called Bacillus thuringiensis, and which will be applied to the BT cotton plants. So then the cotton plants will become BT cotton. So the cotton plants which were injected with this Bacillus thuringiensis are called as BT cotton. Whenever any pest come and eat any leaf or anything, any plant product, the crystal protein present within the plants will kill the pest. Antibiotic production. Antibiotic is nothing but a chemical substance produced by one living organism and kills another organism. Okay, but nowadays we are preparing the antibiotics with chemicals. But previously there are so many microorganisms like fungi. First my antibiotic was produced by Penicillin notatum, which is a fungi. Like that, there are so many bacteria also releases antibiotics. So the examples for some of the antibiotics produced from the bacteria are polymyxin. This polymyxin is produced from Bacillus polymixa bacteria. Bacitracin, it is an antibiotic produced from Bacillus. B means Bacillus. Bacillus licheniformis. This is used to treat syphilis disease, which is caused by Treponema pallidum, it is one of the sexually transmitted disease. Chloromycetin. Chloromycetin is the antibiotic which is produced from the Streptomyces veniculate. This antibiotic is used to treat Salmonella typhi, that is typhoid. Streptomycin is the antibiotic which is produced from Streptomyces graecis bacterium. These are some of the examples of the bacteria which are producing antibiotics. Next one is retching of fibers. We know that fibers, they are made up of the cellulose and pectin materials. So in jute industries, what they do is the fibers are treated with some bacteria like Clostridium perfringens and Pseudomonas putida. These bacteria were added to the fibers. What these bacteria will do is, this bacteria will digest the pectin present between the fibers and loosen them. This is the process. So what is the retching of the fibers? So loosening the fibers by digesting the pectin is called as retching of fibers, which is carried out by the bacteria Clostridium perfringens and Pseudomonas putida. And the one, biofertilizers. What are biofertilizers? These are the additional nutrients added to the soil to improve the crop yield. So we know that nitrogen fixation. We have studied in previous class example of rhizobium, which fixes atmospheric nitrogen in the leguminous plants. Here in biofertilizers, there are two types. Free living bacteria are present, symbiotic bacteria are present. Not all the bacteria, they show symbiotic association with any organism. But some of the organisms, they will freely living in the soil and fixes atmospheric nitrogen and add it to the soil and increases the soil fertility. Those bacteria are called as free living nitrogen fixing bacteria. Example for those free living nitrogen bacteria which fixes atmospheric nitrogen and improve the soil fertility and increases the crop yield are Azotobacter, Clostridium, Klebsiella and Beseringia. These are the examples of free living nitrogen fixing bacteria. And we know this is the common symbiotic nitrogen fixation. In our bacterial nutrition, we have studied about symbiotic nitrogen fixation. It is there are some bacteria like Rhizobium. It fixes atmospheric nitrogen in the leguminous plants. Here, these Rhizobium bacteria, it shows symbiotic association with the leguminous plants roots, fixes atmospheric nitrogen into the soil and roots. Like that, there are some bacteria like Frankia. It shows symbiotic association with alnus. Xanthomonas shows association with wheat plants and fixes atmospheric nitrogen. This is about atmospheric nitrogen fixation. So nitrogen is also one of the biofertilizer. Curing of leaves. Here, curing is nothing but fermentation of leaves. Mainly, what are the leaves? Tea leaves and tobacco leaves. They are fermented by using some bacteria to improve the taste and flavor of the leaves. So for the tea, we use Micrococcus candidans, and for the tobacco, Bacillus megatherium was used. For the tea, Micrococcus candidans, and for the tobacco, Bacillus megatherium was used and fermented those leaves with those bacteria for some time, for some days. Later, in those leaves, because of the fermentation activity, taste and flavor is increased. Cellulose digestion. In your previous 8th or 9th classes, you have studied the cellulose digestion in the ruminants. So ruminants are nothing but cattle which eat, which having the rumen, like cow, buffalo. Those animals, for the digestion of the cellulose, there is an extra pouch is present, right? So in the cellulose digestion also the bacteria were present. So in ruminants, there are some bacteria like methanogenic bacteria. They release cellulase. Actually, the cattle, what they used to eat, the plant material. The plant's cell wall is made up of cellulose, because without this bacteria, any living organism cannot digest cellulose. Because of the presence of this bacteria, because of the release of this enzyme only, those animals are able to digest that plant material and able to absorb it. These methanogenic bacteria, they release an enzyme cellulase helps in the digestion of cellulose present in the plant material, helps in the proper digestion of the food in the ruminant animals. Sorry, E. coli. You know, there are some this E. coli bacteria which is present in our intestine. It helps in the release of vitamin K and B. Normally we don't take any supplement of vitamin K. We will take B complex vitamins, A vitamins, E vitamins and all, but vitamin K deficiency will not occur normally because in our intestine there is E. coli bacteria is present. It releases vitamin K along with B, majorly vitamin K. So because of the release of this vitamin K, we will not suffer with vitamin K deficiency which is present in our intestine, which is helpful for us. But sometimes if we use antibiotics for a longer time, so there is a deficiency of vitamin K occurs. That's why in that time we will take the supplements of vitamin K, and also we need to take some probiotics like a curd and buttermilk to replace the E. coli bacteria. Next, sewage treatment. Sewage treatment, actually in the sewage treatment, it is, what is the sewage? It is nothing but the waste water released from our houses, and all the waste is collected and which is dumped into the municipal sewage treatment plants, where the waste water and the solid waste is treated by using some bacteria. Mainly the solid waste is called as sludge. That sludge is treated by using anaerobic bacteria like Pseudomonas and Clostridium. They help in the proper digestion of that sludge and make it not harmful. Biogas and gobar gas. In villages, there is the cattle waste is very high. In that places, the cattle waste is used to make biogas and gobar gas, which is used as a fuel for cooking purpose, right? That for that production also the methanobacterium was involved. This methanobacteria will digest that cattle waste in anaerobic condition and releases methane gas, and which is used as a fuel. This is all about useful bacteria. And now we will study about harmful bacteria. In harmful bacteria, we will study about different types of diseases. You may be familiar with this. Salmonella typhi. Salmonella typhi this bacteria causes disease called typhoid. Vibrio cholerae causes cholera disease. Clostridium, these two are called as food and waterborne diseases. Whenever we drink any polluted water or spoiled food, we used to get this type of diseases. It's Clostridium tetani. Clostridium tetani bacteria, it causes tetanus. So if we have any open wounds which are not covered properly, it is full of dusty. In that conditions, that wound is prone to this disease, they will get the tetanus. So hence it is called as wound infection. Neisseria gonorrhea. Neisseria gonorrhea, it causes a disease called gonorrhea disease. It is a sexually transmitted disease, STD. Mycobacterium tuberculosis. We know that TB is a lung infection which is caused by the Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It will enter into our lungs through the air. So it is airborne infection. It causes TB. TB means tuberculosis, which is a lung infection. Mycobacterium leprae bacteria, it causes leprosy. We know that leprosy which will cause deformations of limbs. Next, Corynebacterium diphtheria, it is also an airborne disease. From the dust particles, it enters into our nasal respiratory tract. It causes disease called as diphtheria, which is caused by Corynebacterium diphtheria. Next, pneumonia. Pneumonia is also one of the airborne disease like diphtheria. It is caused by Streptococcus pneumonia. Next, denitrifying bacteria. We have studied nitrogen fixation, that is, atmosphere contains elemental form of nitrogen which is in air form. that will be fixed by the some bacteria into the soil which is available for plants. But there are some bacteria like these Thiobacillus and Pseudomonas. These are present in the marshy lands and muddy lands where the anaerobic conditions prevails. In that conditions, these Thiobacillus and Pseudomonas aeruginosa, they will do the denitrification process, that is whatever the nitrogen present in those soils, they will be removed. That means the fixed nitrogen is converted back to the elemental form. Because of that lands will become barren and not fertile. Clostridium botulinum. This Clostridium botulinum, it causes food poisoning. So many people, they used to eat food stored for so many days, like some of the canned foods, some of the foods stored in the refrigerator. If they are not properly covered, in that conditions, this Clostridium botulinum bacteria will enter. This releases an endotoxin into the food. When the food is, this releases some spores into the food. When those food is heated, from those spores, the bacteria releases some toxins. When we eat that food, we'll get food poisoning. So that is highly fatal. Xanthomonas citrate. It is a plant disease which is caused by the bacteria. It causes citrus canker disease in the lemon and causes damage and decreases the yield of the lemon plants, citrus plants. So these are all the harmful effects of the bacteria. These are the useful bacteria and some of the harmful bacteria. This is all about economical importance of the bacteria. We have completed this. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel, that is Latha Akula Biology Tutorial. Thank you.